podcast. I'm your host, Dylan Ruse, and I empower young men to find their power, passion, and purpose. And today, I want to talk to you guys about why consistency will trump intensity every single day of the week. And if you can build yourself up to combining both, then you will become truly unstoppable. So let's look at these two. Intensity is going for a sprint, let's say, going as hard as you can over 100 meters. Consistency is running a marathon. Life is a marathon. Your goals, if they are worthwhile in pursuing, will probably be more of a marathon than a sprint. It may require you at times to bring in some intensity, to bring in some sprint mentality. But what I have found through my personal life, through my early 20s and late teens, was I was so focused on intensity and I maintained very, very little consistency. I always struggled with it. You know, you can hear people talk about struggling with motivation or struggling with discipline. That's essentially just struggling with maintaining some form of consistency in whatever endeavor you're trying to maintain that consistency in. And so what I found was I would always set these big goals. Sunday night would roll around. I'd be disappointed with my weekend. I spent the weekend drinking or fucking around or whatever, right? Or in high school, I spent it playing PlayStation for 10, 12 hours a day. And I get to Sunday night and they're like, all right, that's it. I'm done with this. Monday morning, we're getting up early, exercising, meditating, journaling. I'm going to do everything right this week. I'm going to go on a diet. I'm going to get my rig in check. I'm going to do all these things. And come Friday, come Wednesday, come 2 weeks, I'm falling back to what I swore I wouldn't do it again. And so over time, what that looks like is big action, very little results because it's just big action and over a short period of time, burnout, or it's unsustainable and fall back to where I was. And then I'd be back in that pit. And then I'd climb myself out and then I'd be back. And it would just look like this. And from a results point of view, that's not going to give you, and it didn't give me the results that I was after. I never achieved the goals that I set out. Now, when you look at consistency, you start by addressing where you're currently at and building and building and building. And the energy is really different because you might say, okay, here is what my ideal, my perfect week looks like. And you might say that. And then you might look at what your actual week is from the week that you just had. And the gap, should you have any large goals, will be a huge gap. Okay. If you have any worthwhile goals, it'll be a massive gap. No matter where you are, even if you're an 8 out of 10, you're probably going to be wanting to go for that 10 out of 10, which should be a big gap. Now, look at your perfect week, look at where you're currently at, and then take one step closer to that perfect week. And then do that for 2 weeks. And then do another step closer and do that for 2 weeks. And then another step closer and do that for 2 weeks. And all of a sudden, in 6 months' time, in a year's time, you would have built to this place of genuine consistency. Now, what is the use of intensity? Where can it actually be useful? Now, this might look like you've got an exam coming up and you have to cram for it and study. That slow build's not going to do it well. You will have to potentially spend 2 weeks going really, really hard and stepping into intensity. However, when we're doing that, we're hoping that our baseline, our consistency, our standards have set us up for a successful and not too big of a leap or not too difficult jump into the intensity side of things. That's the hope, because otherwise you'll do it for 2 weeks and you'll fall off again. Or you'll only do it for 2 weeks and you're not going to get the results anyway because you're so far off where you need to be. Right? If I'm trying to lose 10 kilos in 10 weeks and I get to the ninth week and I need to lose 8 kilos in a week and I diet as hard as I can and I exercise for 4 hours a day, I'm probably still not going to lose the 8 kilos that I need to lose because my consistency hasn't been good enough. But let's say I burn 7 kilos in 9 weeks and I've got 1 week to burn 3, I can step into that intensity and get the results that I'm after. right? And so you can apply this to any area of your life. Where are you looking at taking shortcuts? Because that's what the intensity is. It's how can I just do maximal effort, but for a short period of time, instead of saying, well, you know what, I'm going to be in this space, I'm going to be doing this for a long time, or I want to develop these habits, or I want to be X, Y, and Z in 5 years' time. So I'm going to start to build my way there. Everyone wants to get rich quick. Everyone wants the abs in 30 days. But if you were to commit yourself to a daily discipline in whatever field it is you're trying to accomplish a goal in or gain success in, you will find success eventually, as long as you have patience. So, guys, consistency trumps intensity every day of the week. And then when you can build yourself up enough, eventually what will happen is you're operating at the 1% level, right? The Elon Musks, the Jeff Bezos, they're consistent and intense. They're getting up at 6 a.m., they're working till 8 p.m., 10 p.m., going to bed and doing it all over again. And so if that's your goal, if that's your hope, start to build towards that. Start to get some consistency and then bring in some intensity in the back end or as you get closer to your goals. Boys, I hope you got some value out of this podcast. Please leave a review, hit the subscribe button. The more people that know about this podcast, the better and the bigger we can grow this brotherhood. And as always, Young Kings, sending you love and strength.